Well, first of all, I want to thank everyone for being here today, and all those who are with me, Chief Emily Cobb in the New London Police Department for hosting today. And as I understand it, they do the regional dispatching in the region, and a number of the local chiefs are with us that participate in that dispatch. So I hope I have everyone, but I know Chief Brad Wheeler from the Newbury Police Department participates and is here. We have Chief Neil Cobb from the Sunapee Police Department, Chief John Corbett from the Sutton Police Department, Chief Duncan Domi from the Wilmette Police Department. So it's great to have so many law enforcement with us here today. Of course, our Department of Safety, we have our Commissioner of the Department of Safety, Bob Quinn, here. I also want to give a shout out to Steve Lavoie because he did a lot of work on this. The Assistant Commissioner did a great job on this. And Major Chad Lavoie of our state police, who really has spearheaded the implementation of this system. I would be remiss if I did not really very much thank two individuals who are here, our Attorney General, John Formella, and also Judge Keating from the Judicial Branch, because this took great cooperation across branches of government, because it's so important that we have real-time information about bail orders that are issued. That will allow us to keep people safe. It'll allow us to keep officers safe, because as our police officers are on the street, we work very hard to fix our bail law and really make some changes that protect the public. But information is about safety when it comes to protecting the public. So I want to thank the judiciary for really working with the state police, the Attorney General's office, and our law enforcement officers to make this opportunity here today. And this is something that has been discussed for a long time. So the people here who made this really happen, I can't thank them enough for the work that they're doing. And this is another public safety tool for our law enforcement, for victims of crime. Last year, we fixed the broken bail system. Now it's about making sure that system works effectively. And as I mentioned, they will have timely access to court-ordered bail information through the SPOTS system. As that happens, as judges make their decisions on bail orders, and faster access to bail information means that if there's a bail violation, officers can identify it quickly, that they know that if there's information about a particular crime or condition in a bail, that information is out there and that they can act on it if they need to. So this investment is so important to keeping New Hampshire the safest state in the nation. And we want to avoid the tragedies that we've seen that have happened where people did not have the information that they needed, where the system failed victims of crime. So I'm very proud to be here and to see how this system works. I want to thank all of our law enforcement agencies. We're going to continue to work every single day to make sure that victims of crime are protected, the public is protected, and that our officers have real-time information to be able to protect the public. So I want to thank everyone who made this possible. I also would be remiss if I didn't thank the public officials that are here. I know there are public officials in the audience, many members of the, as I understand it, the New London Board of Selectmen, so thank you for being here. The town administrator, I see state representatives, so thank you for working with us on this. It took really a partnership of everyone to make this possible today. And with that, I understand that I will be turning it over to Major Chad Lavoie to talk about this system. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Major Chad Lavoie, and I'm the commander of the Justice Information Bureau within the Division of State Police. Our team was assigned to help lead the Department of Safety's role in the Bail Notification System project. Our task was to create a system that obtains bail data directly from the New Hampshire courts and makes it available to law enforcement across the state. Today, we're proud to share that the bail notification system is live and fully operational for law enforcement use. The system was established within our state police online telecommunications system, commonly known as, referred to as SPOTS. Spots is a system where law enforcement uses during traffic stops to run license plates, as well as research driver and criminal record information. The system shares the defendant's bail status and certain bail conditions with law enforcement on the same day as it's ordered by the court. This information may include firearm restrictions, no contact restrictions, alcohol use restrictions, and orders to stay away from a specific location. While this is a simple process, the impact is timely and critical. Because it is shared electronically, law enforcement can see the most up-to-date information in real time. This protects residents, visitors, by alerting law enforcement to violators. It helps improve officer safety, and most importantly, it helps law enforcement hold individuals who violate the terms and the conditions of their bail orders accountable. Simply, it's another tool to keep New Hampshire the safest state in the nation. We want to acknowledge our sincere appreciation to our colleagues with the New Hampshire courts for their collaboration and support while bringing this system to life. We are also grateful to the support of Governor Ayotte and her staff, the Attorney General's office, and our law enforcement officers across the state who worked with us throughout this process. I'd like to now introduce Judge Chris Keating, the State Court Administrator for the New Hampshire Judicial Branch. Judge.
Thank you, Major. In addition to being the State Court Administrator, I'm also a Circuit Court Judge in Laconia. I serve there every week, and my duties include issuing bail orders in criminal cases. Anyone involved in that process understands that it involves weighty decisions affecting personal liberties and public safety. On the public safety side of the ledger, the legislature and the governor urged us in the judicial branch to create a bail data platform to give bail commissioners and law enforcement visibility into whether a suspect is out on bail. We've provided this information in the domestic violence and stalking context in the past, but not for other offenses. Expanding this to include other criminal offenses posed a challenge because until now the bail process has been obscured by the practical obstacles of a mostly paper-based, locally administered program that takes place in police stations, county correctional facilities, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and in courthouses during the week. I want to salute and thank our project team, led by Julie Lampson, who made this concept a reality over a very intense 6-month period. We began collecting and entering data into the system on January 1st of this year. I also really need to thank the extraordinary partnership with the talented and dedicated professionals at the Department of Safety. Assistant Commissioner Steve Lavoie, Major Chad Lavoie, their contributions and support for our efforts. We couldn't have done this without you. Thank you. Literally hundreds of judicial branch employees and bail commissioners make this system work. Since January 1st, more than 300 court operations staff and bail commissioners have been trained how to use the new platform and how to enter bail data into the system. Through their efforts, every new or amended bail order is entered into the bail order listing tool. That means every time a bail commissioner issues a bail order, every time a judge issues a bail order, every time a judge amends a bail order, that information is entered into our bail data system, which transmits the information to the State Police Online Telecommunications System. That translates into more than 700 electronically transmitted orders a week across New Hampshire. As mentioned, the key fields entered are whether that person is out on bail, what their name and date of birth is, what the lead offense charged by the police is, what the arresting agency is, and whether there are bail conditions that exist with respect to alcohol consumption, firearms or dangerous weapon possession, stay away from a location information, and no contact with a person information. Just as importantly, every time a judge vacates a bail order at the conclusion of the case or at final disposition of a matter, that bail order is promptly removed from the system. This effort requires constant training, rigorous attention to detail, and real dedication, and I want to say how grateful I am to the court operations specialists, clerks, and bail commissioners who added these new responsibilities to the heavy pressures of their daily work. We'll continue with the support of the governor and the legislature and the Department of Safety to continue to make improvements into this system, and we're grateful for everyone's support. With that, I'm going to turn the podium over to Attorney General Formella.
Well, thank you very much. It's great to be here today in what is really a critical moment and step for public safety in the state of New Hampshire. I want to start by thanking Governor Ayotte for continuing to make this a priority. She's made public safety a priority from day one. A lot of it started with the efforts to pass the new bail reform law, but I think what Governor Ayotte, as a former Attorney General and a former prosecutor, understands, and what everybody up here understands, is that changing the law is really only the first step. The law is only as good as the systems that are in place to help us enforce it. And this new system that we're talking about today is a critical tool in the toolbox for law enforcement and prosecutors. I certainly want to thank the Department of Safety, Commissioner Quinn, Assistant Commissioner Lavoie, Major Lavoie, thank the Judicial Branch, Judge Keating, Chief Justice McDonald, everybody in the Judicial Branch, and thank our law enforcement, state police, local law enforcement, sheriff's departments, and I want to thank our prosecutors who are out there who are going to help bring this system to life and use this system to protect public safety. The system is critical for law enforcement and prosecutors because sharing of information is such an important tool to enable law enforcement and prosecutors to do their jobs. They often don't have a lot of time to make decisions. They don't have a lot of time to act. They don't have a lot of time to decide what needs to be done in a given situation, and we have to be able to share information in a timely and efficient manner, and this system will do that. This system's going to be critical for victims. Bail conditions, no contact provisions, those types of protections for victims, again, are only as strong and only as useful as they are enforceable. We have to be able to enforce protections for victims in order to make sure that victims are truly protected, and this new system is going to help us do that. It's going to be critical for victims. And I want to say a little bit about the tragic case last summer, the death of Marisol Fuentes, that has caused us all to re-examine the system and re-examine what we need to be doing to be better and ensure that we don't have tragic cases like that happen again. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Hindsight is always 20/20, and we can't ever guarantee that one thing would have changed an outcome, but I will say this. I firmly believe that if we had had better systems in place to communicate information among law enforcement and prosecutors and the judicial branch in a timely and efficient manner, we would have had a much better chance of preventing what happened to Marisol Fuentes. And so systems like this are critical. This system is critical. It's a critical next step in our efforts to protect public safety. Again, I just want to once again thank the law enforcement and prosecutors who are here today and who are going to really make this system run and carry out the public safety functions that this system is meant to support. And with that, I will turn it over to our police chief from New London, Chief Cobb.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the town of New London. It's a pleasure to have you here today. I'd like to begin by thanking Governor Ayotte for her continued commitment to public safety and for recognizing the importance of providing law enforcement with the tools we need to do our jobs more effectively. I also want to thank the Department of Safety, the New Hampshire Judicial Branch, the Attorney General's office, and everyone who worked to make this system a reality. As a police chief, I can tell you that information is one of the most valuable tools an officer has. Every day, officers make decisions in real time based on the information available to them. The more accurate and timely that information is, the better equipped they are to make sound decisions and respond appropriately. The bail notification system is a great example of technology being used to improve policing in a practical way. It gives officers immediate awareness that bail conditions exist, allowing them to quickly recognize information that could otherwise take valuable time to obtain. That matters when an officer is standing on the side of the road at 2 o'clock in the morning, or when responding to a call where every decision must be made in real time. The notification is informational and doesn't replace the official court order, but it gives officers critical awareness while they're making decisions in the field. This system is also a great example of what can be accomplished through collaboration. Bringing together law enforcement, the courts, and state leadership to solve a real-world problem has resulted in a tool that will benefit officers and communities across New Hampshire every day. Technology alone doesn't solve every challenge we face, but when it provides officers with better information in the moment they need it, it makes them more effective. That ultimately leads to better decision-making, stronger accountability, and greater confidence in our criminal justice system. Governor Ayotte, thank you again for your leadership and for recognizing that supporting law enforcement means giving officers the tools they need to serve their communities effectively. Investments like this make a real difference, and on behalf of local law enforcement across New Hampshire and certainly in our region here, we appreciate your support. Thank you.
Questions?
I mean, how exotic is this? I mean, do other states have this where, in terms of the design and architecture, is this something that folks came up with in-house? Is it based on something else? How much does it cost?
Sure. As far as like the input and how we designed the system, we certainly needed to be reasonable with our expectations and what we can do in a timely fashion to get this up and running. I can say that within under 100 days, we got this project from start to finish. And that's really remarkable, and it shows the collaborative effort that has been worked on by all agencies, the input from law enforcement, from the courts, our partners across the state, and what we could do within the system. So, you know, are we always willing to take, you know, additional things we want to change or update along the way in the process? Absolutely. But we feel really confident in what we have put together right now, that this is exactly what law enforcement has needed in this state for quite some time.
Outside of law enforcement, are there anyone else that have access to this system? Outside of law enforcement and courts?
No, right? Corrections would also be with law enforcement. So corrections and then law enforcement throughout the state, so including corrections, yes.
Yeah, but it's not a public system. This is really, you have to be a sworn officer or in the judicial branch to be able to have access to this information.
Governor, on the policy debate side of things, you know, when you hear other top leaders question, say, yeah, it seems like there's a lot of people in jail right now, but they all need to be there. What's your reaction to that?
My reaction is this. I heard too many stories of victims that were harmed because there were people out on bail that shouldn't have been. I'm proud of the bipartisan work we did to make sure that those changes were made to the law to keep New Hampshire safe and to protect victims. And so I don't understand the idea that if someone actually commits a crime where they are a danger to someone else, they should be incarcerated pending trial. Those findings have to be made by a judge. And so I think if we want to remain the safest state in the nation and we want to protect victims, this law is actually working as it should. And now to have this piece of making sure that officers throughout the state have the information and can cooperate with the judiciary in terms of having that information to make good decisions as they encounter people and to protect victims, this is a very important step forward to help implement the law properly.
Name? And the defendant's date of birth?
Last name spelled incorrectly.
Oh, yeah. And the arresting agency? And this is where you're entering the lead arrest. And the court that has jurisdiction over the case. And then the conditions where there's either no contact or staying away from a location, whether there's a condition as to possession of firearms, destructive devices, dangerous weapons or ammunition, or an alcohol use provision. And then you save it, and you get your bail system ID that you record on the bail order for the court. And once you hit OK, it gets submitted to the Bolt system and gets transmitted to spots. And that's it.
So, just like inside a last name of the individual is system.
Yep. I'm glad it doesn't say AOT. You're pulling me aside.
Yeah.
You good?
Middle initial is N
Yeah.
for the bail notification. Date of birth 01/01/1971.
Yep.
Male. The layout of this return is
Yeah.
the exact same. Here's our.
Right.
Here's
So-
where our return is going to be.
Yep. So basically, you can scroll down.
Yes. Scroll down.
Excellent.
Here's our bail system notification return. We've got a hit on this individual.
Right.
Agencies, New London PD. Court name, Newport District Court.
Right.
Our name of the individual, their date of birth. Restrictions here. There's a no contact with somebody. There's also a stay away from location, residence, business, whatever
Like,
that might be.
In theory, you could be near like one of these locations and know
Correct.
that this individual is close to, or maybe not, where he or she should be.
Correct. And I could see this individual walking down the street and run their information. They're in front of a Dunkin' Donuts that they're not supposed to be.
Right.
Well, that's an issue. Now I know that. I can hop out and address
Yeah.
that.
Right.
Another restriction here is alcohol use.
Yep.
No alcohol use
So if you find alcohol in the car or
on their person.
Yep.
Yep. That's a violation of the bail conditions.
right.
Incident date 2026, June 25th. And then the incident description or charge is going to be simple assault. And that's about it.